This is a request from one of my subscribers. She's working on the Aran toggle wrap, which I have a video to show how to do the different parts and pieces to it. It's not my pattern. I think it's Cheryl Omadal or Carol Omadal is the one who designed this one. I believe it's a free pattern. You just have to go out and search it on the internet. But she's to the point where she wants to connect the back piece to this little front piece. The directions say to chain 32 and connect it, and it's kind of a little sketchy how to do this part for some reason, so I'm just going to do a quickie. I've got part of it done. Now this is called a front loop double crochet and a back loop double crochet, because you're going to crochet in the front of the one, double crochet in the back of the next one. So she's at this part where once you've done that front post double crochet, back post, because when you're in row 40, yeah, it ends right here. It doesn't show here, but it ends right there. And then they say to work in pattern for the 70. So if you work in pattern to the 70 and chain 32, you wind up over here. And you need to chain 32 here. So I surmise that you would break the yarn at this point, connect the yarn here, and work your 70 stitches across here so you can chain the 32 to connect. So that's the way I'm going to do it. I've got it partly done. I'm just pretending this is all pattern. And if you hold it here, this would be this piece here. And this, I'm doing this in a larger yarn, would be your little piece here. Now, for some reason, I just could not get this in my brain to work like it shows here, so I just did a little quickie. The important part is this part. This is what we needed to connect and work on, so I'm not really worried about how this turned out. So let's start with our, right here where it says work and establish for 70 stitches, which is back this direction. Like I said, you have to break the yarn from here and reconnect it here, and do your front and back post. You can see it better on this one, design. So we're going to do a few of the front and back post first, just so you can see how this is done. You yarn over. Let me get this back one done first, then I can, because it always starts with a front post. So what you do is you yarn over. This is your post. You want to go under your post, so your post is on the front of your work. Let me bring this up a little bit. Yarn over, pull it through. Yarn over, go through two, yarn over, go through two. So it's a regular double crochet. Now we're going to do a back post on this one. So instead of going from front to back, we go back in reverse. So you yarn over, come from underneath, go over the post, and go to the back. So that way your post is on the back of your work instead of the front. Yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and do your double crochet. That's your back post. We'll do another front. You go from the front to the front, yarn over, pull it through, you do your double crochet. Now we're going to do a back one, which is from the back to the back. So your post is on the back of your work, and do your double crochet. We're going to do a front. Now I'm not sure exactly where it ends here because I didn't do the full 70 stitches. I'm just going to end it with a double crochet just to have an end here, because I think that's how it ends, but I didn't look that far. But as you can see, there's your pattern. So this piece is laying this direction because you're going to connect to this piece. So it says at this point chain 32. So we're going to chain 32 fairly quickly. I don't want to take too long. I'm just going to do 20. Pretend that's 32, just for time's sake. All right, so after you chain your 32, you want to do a front post in the single crochet and a back post in the half double, front post in the next, and keep doing it all the way across and then turn. So you have to turn your piece this way. It doesn't tell you to do that, but that's what you have to do. And then you want to start with your first front post in your single. The single's right here. So you have to yarn over. It's a little bit of a challenge, but you have to yarn over. Do your front post. Just like you would if it was a regular one. Now I'll do that again because this is the part that she's having trouble with. I'll enlarge it a little bit here. Hopefully that'll be enough. Okay, so let me undo it. So you wrap the yarn around your hook first, just like you're going to do it regularly. But in this case, we're going to connect the two together. You find your single crochet and you do a front post. You got to hold it. Single crochet here. And that's how you connect it. Then you got to do a back post. See, I'm missing a stitch somewhere here. So I'll do the back post here. Like I said, for some reason, I had a brain freeze. I couldn't get this part to work, but I wanted to get it ready for her. So at this point, this one should be a front post, but you can't because this is your front post. And it should be on your work, but like I said, it's not on mine. So we're just going to pretend that it's there. So we're just going to skip over to this one and do a front post. You could even do the same. It won't be seen. Okay, and then you want to do a back post in the back post, which is right here. Then you do a front post in the front post, back in the back, front in the front, and continue on. See, got a little tail here. Let me get rid of this. Okay. So let's do a back post. So you yarn over, go through the back of your work, and do your double crochet. Take this down a bit. Then we do a front. Then we do a back. Somehow I messed up. That's how come I'm off. You do the but this is just a sample for you to see, so I'm not too concerned. This is going to be ripped out once I'm finished. I did it on a chunky yarn with a J hook, so I could show you the stitches a little easier. And you do this all the way across. Now I'm not going to go all the way across because that is time consuming. I want to show the next row. So let me do one more. And I'll just finish this off with a double. We're going to pretend like this is the end. We're going to pretend like it's way over here, but we're going to stop here just for time's sake. But as you can see, your front post crochets are continuing up the pattern and you're connected. So after we've done that one, it says turn your work in established pattern, which is this, back across this portion, and then do double crochets in each of these chains across, and then you continue with your pattern again. So let's go ahead and get that part started a little bit. After that, the rest should be fairly easy. So you turn your work over. We start with a front post. Then we do a back post. By the time you get to this part, you should be really good with your front and back post because the whole front section of this wrap is done in this front and back post double crochets. So I'll go ahead and get this a little bit quick. It can be a challenge sometimes to hold all your work, especially when you're doing this particular one, because this one can be a bit of a challenge. And if you're doing it with this stiff yarn like this, it's even harder. If you're doing it with a nice, soft, worsted weight, like Encore from Plymouth, it'll turn out really, really nice. Because that's my favorite yarn when I make wraps and shawls and stoles and sweaters. Okay, so you can see I'm almost all the way across. Okay, and since I started with a front post, obviously on the back side, it'll be a back post. So we're finished with the back post. No, I'll finish it with a double. Okay, so once you've got that done, because you worked as established, which you've done here. Okay, then double crochet in each of your chains across. You're going to do a double crochet in each of these 32 chains, which are right here. Now you can do it any way you're comfortable. I like to just go in the top loop. Now you're actually working on the back of this chain. The front is right there, and you don't want to work on the front because then you'll twist your work, and you don't want to twist your work. So your best bet is to work on the back side and do double crochets all the way across. Now if you want, you can always, instead of going in just the loop here, you can go down into this area and catch both of these sections. I usually just take the top one because they're going to have you do a special stitch right here. So by leaving this open, you'll be able to see it better when you turn your work around. Let me go over a little ways. That's why I'm only doing the 20 some odd stitches. I go all the way to the other piece, because after you do your double crochets across, then they want you to turn and place a marker so it helps you find the center. And I'm not going to go much further than this because it goes into a next section and I'm not prepared for that next section. I just wanted to help her get through this challenging part because it took me a while to figure it out too. It just didn't make a lot of sense the way it's written. Like I said, crochet patterns are very hard to write in such a way that somebody else can decipher. It can take a little bit of a challenge. It can take a little bit of practice, a lot of patience, and doing it over and over again. Sometimes just reading it and rereading it and rereading it helps get to that part, or get through that part, I should say. Okay, I'm almost back to the beginning. And at this point, it says turn your work, so you would have 148 stitches from all these double crochets plus all your front and back all the way to the end. Then you place your marker after the 74th stitch of the center of the shoulder. When you get into that, it'll make more sense. If you watch my original pattern for the Aran toggle wrap, it'll take you through the whole parts and pieces step by step. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps.